الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من طلب الدنيا حلالا مفاخرا مكاثرا مرائيا لقي الله وهو عليه غضبان، ومن طلب الدنيا حلالا استعفافا عن المسألة وسعيا على عياله وتعطفا على جاره لقي الله يوم القيامة ووجهه كالقمر ليلة البدر، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. رواه البيهقي في شعب الإيمان. Regarding our dars of Hadeeth from the book of Muntakhab Hadeeth, this is from the chapter of Ikhlasun Niyya, sincerity of intention, and this is from the sub-chapter of the Rad of Riyah, the condemnation of Riyah, the condemnation of showing off. This hadith is hadith number 38 from this chapter. And this hadith is in Al-Bayhaqi, in Shu'b al-Iman, by Imam Al-Bayhaqi. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he narrates, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Man talaba ad-dunya halalan, whosoever seeks the worldly material things, this dunya, halalan, that which is halal, meaning they have a halal job, they have halal business, lawful business, but they do all of this mufakhiran, with the intention to boast, to brag, to have bragging rights and to brag to people. Mukathiran, to acquire immense, so much more than their needs, and just to amass wealth. Mura'iyan, to show off. So even the earning is halal, but they're doing it to boast to people, to show off, to just have big bank balance. لَقِيَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ عَلَيْهِ غَضْبَانٌ. This group of people will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning on the day of judgment. وَهُوَ عَلَيْهِ غَضْبَانٌ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be angry with this type of person, or with this group of people. وَمَنْ طَلَبَ الدُّنْيَا حَلَالًا. And whosoever seeks, halal means, lawful means, they seek a good job, they seek a good business, that which is halal, which is lawful. استعفافا عن المسألة. They do it so they do not have to become beggars. They get a good job or good business, whatever it is, so that they will not fall into becoming beggars. وَسَعْيًا عَلَى عِيَادِهِ. And they're doing this striving to take care of their family. And they have a good job, they're making money. And the main intention is to take care of their family, to stay away from begging. وَتَعَطُّفًا عَلَى جَارِهِ. And also to be kind and behave towards their neighbors, be kind to their neighbors. لَقِيَ اللَّهَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Such people who have this good intention when they're seeking wealth, they will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. وَوَجْهُهُ كَالْقَمَرِ لَيْلَةَ الْبَدْرِ. And their faces will be shining bright like the moon shines when there's a full moon. Laylat al-Badr is the 14, 15, 16 night moon, when the moon is full in the lunar calendar. When you look at the middle days, 14, 15, 16, the moon is full, very bright, very beautiful. So they'll have their faces shining like this from the ajr and reward of having a halal income. This hadith is from Bayhaqi. There are a few very important points here. We have to remember that there are certain questions that will be asked in the qabr, in the grave. And there are particular questions that every individual will have to answer on the Day of Judgment. They'll be asked on the Day of Judgment. The questions of the grave is something that is discussed often. When a person is left in the grave and the family members, they leave, and a person is left in that loneliness. The two angels that come to the grave, they ask the person, "Ma Rabbuk," who is your Rabb? Who did you believe was your creator, sustainer? Who did you serve in this world? The meaning of Rabb. The next question will be, "Ma Dinuk," what was your deen? What was your religion? What was your way of life? What religion did you adopt in your life? And then you'll also be asked about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So those are questions of the grave, very, very important questions. And remember, in the grave, and also after we leave this world, the answers will not come from the mind or the tongue. The answers will not be coming from this place. The answers will be coming from the qalb, from the heart. And the nature of the qalb, the nature of the heart is that whatever we program it, that is what comes out. Even in this world, whatever we're used to in intense situations, that's what comes to our tongues, or that is what comes out. There are those who are blessed. They remain in a state of dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whenever they get hurt, or sudden hardship, sudden pain, or some very sudden shock, the immediate response is the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First thing that comes to their mind and their tongue, automatically, subhanallah, or la ilaha illallah. So these are the kind of words that come on their tongue. And they're very blessed to be able to say that in that shocking moment. Because that is also their condition. When Malakul Maut, or the angel of death, will come. You know, death comes very suddenly. So we have to prepare before we leave this world. There are others who have trained their hearts that in sudden situations or sudden shock, they say very, very strange things. Some people use foul language. They end up using curse words, or they just shout. And that is the reaction that also will happen with Malakul Maut. That is why we should train ourselves and teach ourselves. And we should at least have this heart that is qalban dhakira, qalban shakira, a heart that is always remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a heart that is always grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then even in sudden times, that is what will come out at that time. That's how we can gauge in this world sometimes. We can also check our own selves. What happens? There's an accident, or we fall, or we get hurt, or something sudden happens. What comes to our tongue? That's how you know what is in the heart. So in the grave, the heart will speak. So those are the questions of the grave, of the qabr. When we go on the Day of Judgment, we'll be asked very, very, very particular questions. And we will not be able to move from our place until we answer those questions. The first question, how did you spend your life? In this time we were given in this world, what did we spend it in? What was our pursuits? What was our end game? What was our goals? What was our aspirations? What was our intentions? What did we spend our life in? The next question, how did we spend our youth? Youth is very, very important. Particularly the youth for the health, strong time. And the youth starts from the age of maturity, the age of puberty. It goes all the way up until the age of 40. This is a very, very crucial time. After the age of 40, 45, Now you get into the older age or the senior age. But this youthful age, when we're very strong, we have the energy to do many, many things. What did we spend it in? Were we careful with our ibadah? Were we careful with our responsibilities? What direction did we point our life in? What direction were we going? We'll be asked this question, the second very important question. How did you spend your youth? The third question, how did you earn your livelihood? When we speak about rizq, sustenance, and then particularly mal, wealth, how did you earn wealth? Did you earn it in a halal way? Were you worried about what is lawful or unlawful? Were you worried about halal and haram? Or were you just worried about making money, whatever could give you that money? So the sources of our income, we have to answer for that. That is why be very, very, very careful how we earn wealth. It's one of the major questions of the akhirah. Amongst the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, whenever the men used to go out for work, so the women folk used to speak to them, their wives, their families used to tell them, إِيَّاكَ وَكَسْبِ الْحَرَامِ فَإِنَّا نَصْبِرُ عَلَى جُوعٍ وَلَا نَصْبِرُ عَلَى نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ. There's a very, very famous statement that إِيَّاكَ وَكَسْبِ الْحَرَامِ, be very, very careful of earning haram. Do not earn anything that is haram. Don't bring anything that is haram into this house. Don't bring anything that is unlawful, that is forbidden. Don't earn anything from forbidden sources, from what is haram. فَإِنَّا نَصْبِرُ عَلَى جُوعٍ, because we are patient with hunger. We can survive the hunger, no problem. وَلَا نَصْبِرُ عَلَى نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ, but we can never be patient on the fire of Jahannam. And this should be the condition of every single believer. This is something that should be in our lives. We should check, how am I earning my money? Where is my sources of income? What are my investments? What is giving me returns? Are my returns coming from halal sources? Sometimes we don't even realize it. We end up investing in certain companies or in certain different, we get into different types of investments. Some of those are not halal. So we should always check that my earnings, where my money is coming from, is it from halal source? That is a question we have to answer on the Day of Judgment. Because if the earning is not coming from halal source, then spending that money even on oneself, it can become very, very detrimental to our ibadah, to our sincerity, to our worship. It will not be accepted. There's a very famous hadith of an individual who's making dua. And we know that amongst the conditions of dua, for the acceptance of dua, one of those conditions is the condition of tawadu', the condition of being humbled, being in a very humbled situation, a very humbled condition. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he gave us a scene of an individual that is very humbled, a man who's disheveled with dust and torn, in a very, very hungry, in a very difficult situation. And in that situation, he's making dua, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi. He's calling on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that how will his dua or how will his supplication be accepted when his earning is from haram source, when his earning is from a forbidden source? What he eats is forbidden, what he consumes, what he wears, all forbidden, all haram. Why? Because the earning is from haram. So we should be very, very careful. What we earn, even if it is better to have, much, much better to have less earnings, but that is halal, rather than having immense wealth that is haram. Because that less earning that is halal, it'll have barakah, it'll have blessings, and it'll make our condition in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala easy. Versus the immense wealth which is haram, which is forbidden on the Day of Judgment. We have to answer for every single penny that is forbidden. Yes, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses us with immense wealth that is halal, it's fine. Make sure that it is halal, the earnings are halal. So that is a question will be asked. How did you earn your wealth? And then the fourth question, there's a question of the asked on the Day of Judgment, we have to give an answer. How did you spend your wealth? What were you spending your wealth in? And this is outside of our necessities, outside the necessities of our family. What were we spending our wealth in? Were we spending it in charity? Were we spending it to benefit the community? Were we spending it to benefit the next generation? Were we building Masjid, building institutions? Is that what our goal was? Or were we spending the wealth in frivolous, useless pursuits? And we should be very, very careful. Well, we also spend our wealth and we'll be questioned about that. If it is sadaqah, the reward will be so immense that we'll wish that we had not even spent on ourselves. We will be wishing on the Day of Judgment we spend everything in sadaqah. We spend everything in charity. That's how much reward will be there. But if it is not in charity or it is not in good cause and it is spent in something else, then we'll have to answer for that. Because we became partners or we took a share in whatever we spent our wealth in. This is very, very important. So in this hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is telling us about the earning of those whose earning is halal. The one has made every effort that, okay, my job, my occupation is halal, or my business is a halal business. I'm staying away from anything or staying away from everything that is haram. Every penny that I'm earning, it is halal. But behind that halal earning, there is something else. The intention is corrupted. And the intention is mufakhiran, mukathiran, mura'iyan. Mura'iyan. That the intention is to boast, to show off, to be boastful to others, how big our bank balance is, how much wealth we have, to show it off. There are those who, they may not even have much, but they have the habit of showing off. They buy expensive vehicles, they buy massive homes, they take loans just to accommodate their expensive and luxurious life. And many a times the intention behind that is just so they can prove a point that they're wealthy. And that's the main intention. They want to prove to everyone that they're wealthier than others. They want to boast about it. And the intention is just to have these big bank balances. That should not be the intention of a believer. A believer, once their needs are fulfilled, the next intention in their eyes are on the akhirah. They look at their necessities. There's nothing wrong with having a nice vehicle. There's nothing wrong with having a nice house. But make sure that the intention is just so that your darura is fulfilled. You're being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should not do it to try and compete with others or to prove to others that we are better than someone or that we have more than someone. This should not be the intention. It's fine to have a decent, even the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, many of them had very nice, their homes were nice, they had decent, the ride at that time were horses. They used to purchase sometimes very expensive horses, nice, but they could afford it. Their intention was not to brag or boast or show off. The intention was to use it. There are those who will buy luxury brands and then park the car in their garage for years. Just they bring it out to show to someone that they own this car and they put it back. This is not the purpose of the car. The purpose of the vehicle is to be driven. Sometimes they'll buy a luxurious, very expensive watch. And it's amazing when you get into the world of watches. The jewelry is extraordinary. Simple watch you can buy $10, $15 just to tell you the time. Nowadays the phones have come and taken over most of it. There are particular Luxury brands go into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, one watch. Some of them go to the millions of dollars, one watch. They take it out in particular occasions to prove to someone how wealthy they are. This should not be the intention. We should be very, very careful what our intention, where our goal is in life. A believer, their eyes are always on the akhirah. They're always looking how I can build my hereafter. Not this dunya, this world means nothing. So what if you boast to someone? So what if you show off to someone? The reality of showing off, often at time what happens is the people we're showing off to, they evil eye us. We don't even realize what harm we're causing ourselves, what harm we're causing our families. There may be many of our friends who are sincere. There are many out there. But very sincere to it. They don't care much about this world. And they're very sincere. They say, MashaAllah, very nice. But there are those who in their hearts they have envy. In their hearts they're jealous. And they're looking at our material things that we have. And rather than appreciating it and being happy for us, in their hearts they're envy and they're jealous, and the jealousy is shown and it comes out in the evil eye, in ayn. And that evil eye causes so much destruction in the lives of people. You'll be surprised how many cases come to the ulama, come to the shuyukh. We have seen with our shuyukh how many people come. They have problem after problem, hardship after hardship. I still remember one of the cases that came to one of the shuyukh. We were there, and they brought the case that there was she was a young girl, and she was in her late 20s, early 30s. She had already gone through 2 or 3 divorces. It was something very strange. And they looked at the family, very good family. The girl herself was very, very good girl. She was not, even in akhlaq, she was very obedient, But one thing that she used to have is that when they would get married or they would go and they would start traveling, they used to travel. And she used to take photos. The family take photos and they used to post it on this, the Facebook and the social media, all the different social media outlets. I used to make videos and photos and show to the people that we're so wealthy, we've gone there and we've gone there and we've done this and we're doing this, and making videos of their home and their cars and whatever they used to have. I used to make videos of this. And the Shaykh told them that, listen, you don't know who's watching these videos or who's looking at these photos with envy. And that eye of envy, the ayn, the evil eye, is what is destroying your life. He gave the advice to the sister that, listen, stop taking these photos, stop making these videos, stop showing the world what blessings you have like this. Not everyone is sincere to you. If you know someone personally who's sincere to you, is different. But there are so many, out of every 1 or 2 that are sincere to you, there'll be 100 that'll be envious of you. And that is why you're going through this emotional pain. It's not easy to have a family breakup, and even especially in young, youthful age. Not 1, but 2 or 3. How many times you're going through this? And life was being destroyed like this. And this is from envy or from ayn, from evil eye. So even with showing off, we're being boastful. Sometimes we think you're doing something good. In reality, we're causing ourselves harm. If you are blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, enjoy the blessings. But be very, very careful if your intention is to boast or to show off or to prove a point. Just do it to fulfill your needs. Be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and don't worry about the approval of the people, because not everyone will be sincere to us. We should remember this. So even if the earning is halal, make sure that what you're spending, what you're buying, don't do it with the intention of showing off. Don't do it with the intention to boast. Don't do it with the intention to have israf. Never ever do israf. Israf means don't be excessive, extravagant, buying more than what you need. Because that is from the being excessive beyond your means. That is the habit of the brothers of shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us very, very clearly in the ayat of the Quran, a very clear prohibition. وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Don't become so excessive beyond what you need. So excessive. Because that extreme extravagance and excessiveness, this is from the brothers of shaitan. There are those who have 100 cars. They have 5, 10, 15 cars. They only drive one. The others are just standing there. There are those that have 5, 6 homes, 10 homes. They only live in one. The others are just empty. There are those that have so many shoes, so many clothes, so much jewelry, so many things. Beyond some of it, they've never even worn more than once. Not even once. More than once, some of the things they've worn. One of the beautiful qualities of Imam Malik rahimahullah, as someone used to bring him, and he had thousands of students. So every day he used to be receiving gifts. Someone would give him perfume, someone would give him a thobe, someone would give clothing, so many different things. One thing, anytime he would receive a gift, the previous gift he would give away. He used to give to a poor person. So if he received a new perfume today, he only kept a set amount, 2 or 3, and the other one he used to give away. So as gifts were coming, he was also giving the others in charity. Someone asked him, why do you do this? These students bring it to you in all. And he said, yes, I wear it. They bring me clothes. I wear it in front of them. I come to the class wearing their clothes. I teach. I come to class wearing the perfume they buy me. I teach the Hadeeth of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and they get the ajr, me wearing the clothes with the perfume. And I wear it 2, 3 days. Someone else brings me another gift. So then I take what I had, clean it or nice it, and I give it as in sadaqah, and I wear the new one. And like this, he used to, whatever was coming in, the other side he was giving away in charity. So it was not piling up. Sometimes we have things piling up for years. We have clothes that don't even fit us anymore. We have shoes that don't even fit us anymore. We have things we don't even know what we have. And they're just sitting there. This is also part of it. So we should check what we have. We don't realize how blessed we are. But with that blessing, build your akhirah. And give it to some poor people. Give it to someone that will use it. If anything else, don't let it pile up. Because that can we'll be questioned for it on the Day of Judgment. More than what we have, so much excessive. Beyond our needs, we can become responsible. So this is also the advice of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam here in this hadith, that even the seeking what is halal, where you're earning is halal. But what are you spending it on? You're spending it to be boastful. You're spending it to show off. You're spending it just to have excessive amounts. We should be very, very careful with this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and give all of us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ.